We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
Hi Surya, hi Mario, how are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful. So what do we have today actually?
Of course, the first question we have is what is the difference between final merits determination, sustained acclaim, and the totality of the evidence standards in the EB1A adjudication?
Wonderful. In fact, this is one of my favorite questions actually, because you don't get really EB1A because you are fulfilling the criteria. This is something beyond criteria. And from where do they come? I think that's the most important thing is, final merit determination is because of there was a case called Kazarian. It comes from the fact that there should be a two-step adjudication process. The first is whether the person is fulfilling the criteria, and the second step is whether whatever the evidences the person has given based on the fulfillment of criteria, whether it appears that the person has become the person in the top 1% of his field of excellence. That's the final merit determination which is established. Now, sustained acclaim is a very interesting concept because many people would like to believe that sustained acclaim is a matter of time, which we call it as a temporal function actually. Well, it is, of course it is, but it is not the only one. The sustained, because we have seen somebody ask us, oh, how come it is a 40-year-old, drawing a $1 million salary is not able to get EB1A, but a 26-year-old has a sustained acclaim, though the career span. So it is not a function of career span. It is the matter of how much is the deep your impact is. Now, just to give you an illustration, somebody during COVID time would have, let's say, designed a COVID vaccine. Now, he designed today, and let's say next day he applies for EB1A. It does not mean that, he does not prove himself to have a sustained acclaim in that case. Because sustained acclaim is not a function of temporal activity, nor it is a function of how much popular you are. It is a function of how much impact that you have created in other people's life. And totality of evidence, which is the last aspect here, is actually the component which comes from the USCIS policy actually, in terms of what is the quality of evidence that you have sent and what does it speak. So when you get a letterhead, say for a critical role, who has signed the letter? Is it a company is giving you a letter, or a person who is kind of, let's say your manager is giving? Is it on a letterhead or not on a letterhead? That's the kind of detailing it goes into actually. So indeed, there are three things: final merit determination, sustained acclaim, and the totality of evidences, along with you fulfilling the criteria, are all taken up together. And that helps you to become whether you are EB1A or not. I mean, that's how it is. Of course, one can go into a lot of detail. People who are in the program, there's a separate dedicated module on this actually. And this is the most important aspect for which one is awarded EB1A. So guys, keep watching this. So this would be very helpful. So let's move to the next topic actually. So next question.
Yeah, absolutely. So this next question is from an anonymous user that was posted within our Facebook group. I'm not going to read everything, but essentially they say, please help evaluate my profile for EB1A. They have a PhD graduate from the U.S. University, and they are currently a data engineer to a client via consulting company. They just asked, please help me and let me know if I need any improvement, anything in my profile. It took them 6 years to build this profile. So they're asking just for any valuable suggestions in advance.
Okay, now I think one of the most, I think I can see that there is a lot of, kind of parameters which have been given: the PhD, Google Scholar, citations 331, H index 10, Scopus citation, total publication 26. This is very good. I think only thing of course, I can read here that you are from the Best Thesis Award from Europe Conference, which is also very good. But the most important thing is that what is not standing out for me is what's your expertise here and what have you chosen your expertise to be. I mean, it looks to me it is related to data science, but what it is exactly. Then you are talking about some award like Fusion Awards. So how good it is, how bad it is. One has to go into more granular into it actually. Prima facie, it looks good to me. I mean, when you talk, okay, let me give you an illustration from the perspective of criterias. I mean, if you look at it from a scholarly, this is very strong. From judging perspective, I would say moderate to strong. Awards would still be moderate, but I think original contribution, I'm not sure of the impact actually right now. And leading and critical role, I am not very sure, and membership is not listed. If you really want a kind of an open bare analysis into this, then we just spoke about sustained acclaim. I mean, what is it? Is your acclaim sustained? Is it national or international? Does your work cause a field level impact? Now, this is where the many researchers with similar profiles are denied. And if I have to give a very, kind of frank advice or input here, citation count is moderate and not really a very high impact. What we don't see is evidence of a real world adoption, which is not evident from the document. There is no patent or industry, deployment. Current role doesn't, is not signaling that extraordinary because of this. Maybe we need to have more documentation. Awards are very weak actually. And please understand that letters will not alone establish your major significance. We need that actually. I mean, and especially, let's say, for example, it looks to me that your profile is related to data and something on a healthcare basis actually here. So we need to see whether your model has been integrated into some kind of a medical research or a hospital workflow. Is your method used in commercial imaging product, real world patient outcome that influenced? You're talking about GitHub implementation adopted by others. What are the tools, data sets which have been widely used? Benchmark leadership, your algorithm performed the existing models. And I think you can do this in 6 to 12 months, I feel, by leading some AI or ML, kind of initiative, publishing some kind of an internal white papers, demonstrate some kind of an architectural leadership. What else? Yes, of course, the company letters or something. You need to be speaker, get on some advisory boards and things like this actually. And once you are able to do this, then your profile will be ready. Right now, from a next league perspective, I would say that this is like, may not just directly ready for EB1A, but you are mentioning also that your EB2 priority date is 6 months away from being current. That may be a temptation for you to not to wait. But as I always mention that EB1A is not just for your green card. It is for the purpose of you becoming the best version of yourself, where green card becomes a milestone. Notwithstanding whether you get a green card or not, whatever things that I have mentioned to you, if you were to do this, definitely in your career you will prosper. And I personally feel that is more important to you than just getting a mere green card. So I think wish you all the best. Let us know if you need any help. We'll be there to support you. So let's move to the next question now. Surya.
Of course, another more anonymous user share. I'm currently on H1B and my NIW has been approved based on my credentials, 16 publications, 430 citations, 30 peer reviews, 4 recommendation letters. What are the chances of getting EB1A approval?
Frankly, I have no idea in this case, because we don't even know. At least in the previous case, we knew that it was related to data science and healthcare. But here we don't even know what field are we talking about. If you're talking about rocket science, are you talking about nuclear engineering? Are you talking about data science? What exactly are we talking about here? And how is that I again repeat that you don't get EB1A because you are fulfilling the criteria. It is like this. You get EB1A because you have a certain solution to a problem that US needs. It's like talking to President Trump and saying that, look, this is my green card. This is what I can do. This is my expertise. This is my expertise. This is what I can do for the US. And this is what I propose to do once I get my green card. I mean, that's the kind of narrative, that's the kind of preparation you can have. What exact problem that you are solving, it's not very evident from here. So I'm sorry, guys. I mean, this is not something that I can comment on, or not. Neither I would like to qualify myself to speak here. So let's move to the next. So,
Yeah,
Mario?
absolutely. So the next question is from an anonymous user. They ask, how can someone with limited publications or citations still demonstrate extraordinary ability effectively?
Wonderful. Now, this is a very good question, and I'm going to give you this with an example. We had one particular student, he's now an EB1 achiever. His total citation count, guys, was just 3. Yes, you heard it right, just 3 citations. And obviously, I mean, there was a concern that, that this may not work, obviously. But let's understand, we had a little deep research into it, that one of the citations that he had got was from some European researcher, and that was in Nature. So yes, guys, I think it's Nature. And when we requested the author of that article to write a kind of a recommendation letter, he did say that he was influenced a lot by this particular article of a student, and it made a tremendous impact on him actually to write an article which was later published in Nature. Now, it is not about your number of publication or limited publication of the citations. Guys, there are cases, if you look at the papers which have won the Nobel Prize, they are just around, some of them are just 10 pages and some of them are just 15 pages. Only one actually. So one paper can get you a Nobel Prize. That's the kind of an impact you can do. So even if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 articles, but they are so paramount, they are so incisive, so deep that they're solving some fundamental problem, you would definitely consider that to be an extraordinary ability. By writing even 1,000 articles, it may not show up actually. Let's be clear about it. Where it is published, who is reading it, why somebody is, what problem have you solved? That's the kind of thing that is very important in this particular case. But I mean, most people, unfortunately, we have seen that, they try to write an article. A good way to check, I would say that a good way for you to check is that since you are using AI tools, give yourself an article, see the best article which you like, and ask that article, ask the bot, okay, what is the problem that it is solving? What was the solution of that problem before this particular case was done? Is it unique? Is it standard? And benchmark your papers with the best solutions and best people. That will give you an answer to this. So this is how even the most limited publications or citations will demonstrate your extraordinary ability. Extraordinary ability means not the number, it means only the impact. If you don't have impact, you can write 10,000 articles, but if it has 0 impact, 0 solutions, you are just beating around the bush. So let's move to the next question, guys.
The next question is, what are the most overlooked pieces of evidence that can strengthen a petition's credibility?
Okay, you have used the word credible. So remember, there are 3 things which are there. One is, there has to be, it has to have a purpose. Any evidence that you are giving needs to have a purpose. Second is, it needs to have a credibility. Yes. And the third is, it needs to have a probative value. Okay. So first is authentic, credible. Now, credibility is about somebody, if you are giving a letter, let us say a letter of recommendation, without specifying how you are related to that person, what is the locus of that person. Okay, if you are giving a let us say letter for critical role, and you take it from your colleague instead of your senior, I mean, who may not even be working in that company, not on the letterhead, the credibility of that letter would be very poor. So you should get letter where the locus is established very well. I'm talking from a letter perspective here. But then we have a lot of things. How you are explaining your original contribution. What are the metrics that you are designing for the original contribution? Now, these things are very, very important here. Okay, so step by step, we can just get into a lot of parameters in terms of the locus of the person, the quality of the letter, in terms of documentation that you are giving, in terms of quality of evidences that you are sending. There are a lot of parameters that will establish your credibility. We have seen USCIS is reading even a line, even every link that you are giving has to be operative. If that link is not operative, you will lose your credibility. And then obviously one can make a list of another 100 items which are there. So that's all I would like to say right now. And let's take the last question right now.
Absolutely. So our last question, they ask, how do you approach cases where a candidate has strong technical work but limited public visibility or recognition? They said, I feel my 10 years of experience, I have done innovative work, but I do not have huge media coverage to show my work fully.
Okay, just repeat your question again. Let's go step by step. How do you approach this?
Yeah, so how do you approach cases where a candidate has strong technical work but limited public visibility or recognition?
Hang on. When you say strong technical work, what does it mean? He has worked for a company. It's not about your work you get your EB1A. If you would have said a strong technical impact, then it would make a lot of sense. Or you created an app. You made an app. Now, we had a gentleman who made an app for one of the leading banks in the world. And he was an employee there. In his 15 years of work, he must have spent only 1 month on this. That app was for, some retirement planning, for the purpose of retirement planning, actually. And that app was sold off for $100 million with the 2 million customers. Now, this is a very powerful impact. There is a valuation, there is successful metric. If you had just worked without an impact, if this gentleman had worked on this particular app without having any impact, this is does not bear any substance whatsoever actually here. So innovative work. So how you define that innovation? By being innovative is not a sufficient parameter. You need to have, and what is the impact of that innovation? And last thing, media coverage is not something that is paramount. If you have done an impact, some fields demand media coverage and some do not actually. So this is perfect. You just need to kind of understand that's not. There's some fields, some scientists, how many people would you have even heard the names before they get Nobel Prize? They would not be in the media. They come into the spotlight possibly after they get their prizes. So don't worry about it, guys. So that's all I have to say. If you have some more questions, reach out to us. If you want to kind of ask or join the program or put your questions on the spotlight here, we'll be happy to help you. So that's all I have, and wish you all the best, guys. Have a happy Saturday. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any further questions or need personalized guidance, please reach out to us. We are here to help you every step of the way in your journey towards achieving your American dream. Let's connect and make it happen together.